Welcome to the CEOtalk Mumbai. This is an initiative by the Talk. CEOtalk is a powerful platform that enables powerful and meaningful business relationships amongst various businesses. My name is Muthu and I own a brand called Crumbles, which is an organic cookies firm. And this show is sponsored by Tata Business Services. They are the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses. They offer solutions ranging from cloud, collaboration, connectivity, IoT, security, and marketing solutions for businesses in India. And they are also the largest provider of ICT solutions for businesses in India. Now, I would like to start today's session by introducing the lovely panelists who have joined us. And I know this is a virtual session, but let's give a good round of applause as I introduce each of the speakers' names and we have a good energy flowing inside the room. I would like to start by introducing Mr. Jiten Mehta, Director, Magnamious Systems Private Limited. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Followed by, we have Mr. Suhas, Mhaskar, CEO, Accent Technovation. Welcome, sir. We also have Mr. Sharjeel Siddiqui, Chief Marketing Officer, Netsoftmate. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining. We also have Mr. Jeetendra Lalwani, co-founder, Dial 4242. Welcome, sir.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon.
We are also expecting the presence of Mr. Rahul Singh, who will be joining us very shortly. And at this juncture, it is my deep privilege, and I'm also honored to introduce one of the most charming members of the Tata Tele, Janis, Regional Marketing Head, Mumbai, Tata Teleservices Limited. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I invite Janis to give a small welcome note. Over to you, Janis.
Yes. A very good afternoon to all the eminent speakers and to all the participants who have viewed in our CXO Roundtable series on behalf of Tata Tele Business Services. So I'll spend some time in talking about what are Tata Tele Business Services core strengths, what is their customer focus in the market, and how our solutions, what kind of solutions we offer to ensure business continuity and customer delight. So we have all experienced through the last 1 year that COVID-19 has acted as a tipping point for digital transformation of the workplace. And this will speed up further as technology is now a vital pivot on which enterprises are totally dependent for their business continuity and growth. Digital agility thus is becoming a critical factor for the workforce to communicate and collaborate effectively, both internally and with customers. As a country's leading technology enabler, Tata Tele Business Services has been empowering enterprises with voice, data, and managed services to develop deep digital capabilities, build resilience, and enhance operational efficiency. Enterprises are moving fast on the digital curve and are embracing hybrid work culture that allows them to service their customers anywhere and anytime. To meet this growing demand, we have strengthened our portfolio of services such as cloud-based communication solutions, collaboration solutions, Internet of Things, data management, and cybersecurity solutions. We have recently launched an advanced cloud communication suite by the name SmartFlow, which combines an uninterrupted flow of business communication with intelligent call routing and monitoring. Not only this, but it also offers on-demand scalability, which allows businesses to adapt quickly to changing business conditions. And today, we understand that cybersecurity, how important it is. Therefore, SmartFlow also comes with enterprise-grade security and reliability. Now, cyber attacks like phishing, ransomware, etc., have become far more pervasive and sophisticated, especially during the pandemic. To address this, Tata Tele Business Services has enhanced its cybersecurity portfolio to provide a world-class security platform to offer email security, web security, firewall, endpoint security, and multi-factor authentication security. Therefore, enterprises now have access to a comprehensive smart perimeter security proposition that is robust, scalable, and can be adapted.
Janice, your voice is a little disturbed. I think sometimes it is audible, sometimes it is not audible.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better.
Better?
Yeah, better.
So TTBS has further strengthened its suite of work from anywhere solutions to meet the demands of the hybrid workforce. Solutions like hosted IVR allow enterprises to quickly set up distributed call centers and enable agents to work from home. Others like hosted PBX, audio on web conferencing solutions, international bridging services ensure connectivity and collaboration amongst teams spread geographically across the globe. Tata Business Services is also a trusted provider of Internet of Things services that are designed to facilitate real-time tracking for informed decision making. Its portfolio comprises of asset management, fleet management tracking, school bus tracking, and workforce management. For the last 2 decades, our deep customer engagement has helped us to develop solutions.
Janice, I think it's still the same. I think
Same?
no, I think it's audible at times, and then again it goes out mute.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Better now?
Yeah,
much better.
Okay. So for the last 2 decades, our deep customer engagements have helped us to develop solutions that would enable enterprises to compete and win in their respective business segments. We will continue to play the role of technology enabler by strengthening our portfolio of services, especially in the areas of connectivity, collaboration, SaaS, IaaS, IoT, and cloud, while simultaneously enhancing our network and sales reach capability to cover as much of the enterprise footprint as possible and enable them. Thank you once again to all our eminent speakers and to all the people who are viewing for this session and sparing time out. I'm sure it will be a very insightful one. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Janice. So it was, at times it was a little distorted voice. Still, we were able to get few of the insights from you. And thank you so much for coming here once again and giving such a lovely welcome address. Yes, lovely panelists. I think let's quickly jump into the panel discussion without much ado. So as I told you before, the theme of today's session is rising to the challenge with tech advantage. And let's go to the panel discussion. So looking back at the last year, this last 1 year has been a complete roller coaster for all of us, right? We still remember telling to ourselves that, hey, everything is going to be okay by August. This is what we told ourselves, but August went by, the new year came in, and again, it's almost like, we are at the first year anniversary of this lockdown. So it has been exactly 1 year since we all started this lockdown, and still, I think the situation is still the same, and there isn't much improvement. As a matter of fact, we are actually facing the second wave, and it's again repeating. But there are a lot of changes with regards to the business as well. Right? There were certain businesses that got deeply hit, and at the same time, there are a few companies that bloomed during the pandemic, and certain companies, we must say that they rode on a unicorn literally, and they made much revenues like never before, especially during the pandemic. So one thing that has been of a major usage is this word called change, right? So we all know that the change is inevitable, but this change has played a major role during the pandemic, especially in the business. So talking about this change, I would like to understand from you panelists, how is your business responding to the new normal? So I would like to start with Mr. Sharjeel.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you for that introduction, and thanks for having me here. Like you said, change is the only constant. And with our company, Netsoftmate, even before that, when I was working with Next, which is a SaaS platform, now I'm into IT services. What we've seen is the global nature of business, right? So it is, companies have been trying to cut down costs while servicing clients internationally, and communication is playing a big role here. So with Netsoftmate, the beauty for us, or which worked very well for us, was that We are servicing clients internationally, mostly in Middle East and North America, and we already had this remote working culture induced in our company culture. So we had remote employees across India, in Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. I've been working remotely even much before COVID. So the change, adjusting to this COVID change, was not very difficult for us. But yes, we had played a catalyst while helping our clients accepting this change. And that was a very good, very I would say, a very good experience that we all had, because since we were already working remotely with a lot of clients, our clients used to basically take tips from us, from our teams, from our technical teams, and how are you accepting this change, how are you doing things. And we were able to help them with guiding them towards the right technologies. Okay, we are using this. So for us, since even before COVID, everything was around communication, because working remotely, communication plays a very important role. So we invested heavily in tools, communication tools. We invested heavily in CRM way before COVID. And then again, yes, even after investing, we have always seen that employees and all other people in the company, they take time to get used to technologies. And COVID actually helped us to train our employees, to make them adhere to the technologies, to make them use the technologies, increase compliance in terms of CRM usage, because they had time in hand, right? So they did that very well. I would say, all in all, COVID has played a very good role for us, and we had increased, in fact, double the revenues from certain markets, and certain markets like North America was a bit closed for us, but technology definitely played a very important role. And I would say that going ahead, I am thinking we are basically, as an organization, thinking of adopting more technologies in terms of communication, both internal and external.
All right.
So right.
Thank you, Mr. Sharjeel. Let's quickly move on to Mr. Jiten Lalwani.
Hey, everyone. Uh, so for us, especially being in the ambulance business, this was a game changer, honestly. COVID uh, came with a lot of responsibility for us. In fact, Mumbai police has recommended our services multiple times on Twitter. So it meant more added responsibility for us. Uh, in fact, it was a game changer for us. We did 4 times the last time of GMV in terms of we have done more 4 times more. Okay, we in fact break even in the middle. Okay, so the pandemic came with a responsibility, but also helped us in driving our business in a much more efficient manner. And especially with our model of aggregation, that we are present across 100 cities and have 5,000 ambulances, corporates started taking us more seriously. So our B2B model actually got quite a hit. Okay, a lot of people started using our services. A lot of corporates took our services, because now with everybody working from home, and nobody has an ambulance number saved in their phone. Okay, and that's where dial 442 ambulances came into the picture. So with we making ambulance nearest ambulance accessible to everyone, corporates loved our services. Okay, and in fact, in the last 1 year, we have got more than 5 lakh plus corporate members who have taken our services and happy with it. So for us, COVID was actually a game changer. It changed a lot of things for positivity. Okay, and a lot of people realized the importance of ambulances. When nobody could deliver an ambulances, we went and delivered it. We have delivered it. Like, there was a case of 3 o'clock, a pregnant lady could not get an ambulances. We have gone and supported. There was a patient who could not get an admission in a hospital for 8 hours. Our ambulance was on standby so that he is getting proper oxygen support. Okay, so all these things have helped us. Okay, yes, it came with a lot of responsibility, but I would definitely say that COVID has been a game changer for us in a positive manner.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jiten. Yes, let's quickly move on to Mr. Jiten Mehta. Over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jiten, and I'm a promoter and founder for Magnamious Systems Private Limited. So I've been in IT infra services. Like as Sharjeel said, we have been in. So this pandemic is, I would say, is three industries which have really boomed very well. Is one is the healthcare, probably pharma, and the third one is IT technologies. All of us are here. I think everybody would say that it was a boom area for everybody. See, whatever would have happened in next 3 years to 4 years probably has happened in a time of, I would say, 4 months. I would not even say 1 year. If you would have seen last Q1, April, May, June, I think so. The biggest business any IT company would have done is, if they were already present, probably, they would have done the highest business in that Q1, probably. They would have covered for a whole 4 quarter. So that was a really boom time for everybody. And luckily, we have been in IT infra for almost now 31 years. And we had a BCP and DR solutions already in place with all the corporate and enterprise, segment, which has helped us in probably moving on a day one, like on a 22nd of March or a 21st of March, Saturday, I remember that day, where we were already online, and a lot of our customers were online by 28th of March. Everybody was on their, working from home, and they got their devices in place, bit laptop, tab, whatever it is. Everything was on. So luckily, since we were present in BCP solution already, yes, the important thing, the biggest change we got is probably work from home for our own employees. See, we were supporting clients 24/7. Of course, we have few customers out of India, but basically we have been present in Mumbai and Goa only, physical presence, and we have been supporting 24/7. We run a knock for all our enterprise clients. So the shifting of knock took us to the next level where it is also today. We are not even thinking. See, we decided to start on 1st April in the month of August. We will not even start before 1st April. And now today we are at a level where we are thinking we'll look into July, August, probably not before that. And people are happy. The productivity has gone up, at least I would say 3 times, which was there before. In a city like Mumbai, probably you spend 3 to 4 hours in travel time. By the time you reach your workplace or your home, you are fagged out because of a local transport, train, whatever journey we talk of. So the productivity has gone up at 3 times. The people are available at any time of the hour. You call up at 11, they pick up a phone. They are ready for that. So yes, the pandemic has changed a lot of things, and I think so. In our industries of IT, I think so it is really done wonders. Probably, as I told you, for a custom also, which would have been done in 4 to 5 years, probably 2024 has come in 2020, 21. I would say. Otherwise, this change would have taken at least 2, 3 more years. Moving from work to home and everything. So I think pandemic has been good for all of us, probably.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jiten. Thank you so much, Mr. Jiten. Moving forward, I request the speakers to keep your answers a little crisp and precise. Since the time is pressing, is over to Mr. Suhas.
Interesting. I mean, I would say that the year was very interesting in terms of both the experience that we got and the exposure that we got. So if you look at Accent as a company, we say that our tagline is technology-led innovation. So by the nature itself, we ourselves were using technology, and most of our people were already operating either from their homes or from remote offices. So for us, pandemic wasn't a real challenge from the perspective of communication because we were already geared up towards it. The major challenge that came to us was the customer interaction part, because since we are into providing AI, ML kind of solutions to our customers, we have to initially go and understand what their pain point is. And for that, physical field visits or physical visits to their areas of operation is quite crucial. And I think that was an area which was greatly affected. And till date, that is a major challenge. Other than that, the internal collaboration, communication, we really had no challenge because we were already geared up towards it. I hope that is short enough for you.
All right, it definitely is. So thank you so much. And with that, I think I can understand that this change, as we discussed, which is inevitable, has played a major role in all of our businesses. And since majority of us are in the IT line, and I think almost all the panelists here did have a good time, must say, good time as the business wasn't really hit bad during the pandemic, and we all survived. But moving forward, there is something very interesting which I would like to understand from you. So, talking about the technology, as everyone rightly said, so I think Mr. Jiten had said it right. This technology was already there, right? So, what all we are adopting today, right from the Zoom or any other technology, it has been there already. But this pandemic has made us to embrace it a lot more quicker than it was meant to be. Right. So on that note, talking about, I would like to understand from the panelists how technology is changing the way we do business. I would like to start once again with Mr. Sharjeel. Before that, I would like to give a small reminder to keep your answers a little crisp. Over to you, Mr. Sharjeel.
Sure, sure. I'll try to be crisp this time. It's just like you don't realize that you're going on.
I understand.
Right. Going towards your question, how technology is changing the way we do business, you rightly mentioned that technology has been there. This whole decade, we've seen so many startups, so many SaaS companies pop up. There are SaaS platforms for almost everything, right? And the only issue was change, like I said. People accepting the technology. We've seen in leadership position, I'm sure all the panelists must have experienced that people don't start using it, people don't comply with technology, so we put frameworks in place to help them comply. So yeah, I think right now COVID has played an important role in that aspect, because people knew that if they want to increase productivity, they have to adopt technologies. And my personal experience was with project management tools. So since we are working remotely, and since this whole new normal has changed the way remote workers are using technology, what we've seen is the remote workforce started adopting all these tools like Asana, like Coda, where we created workflows, and they started following it. That has been a huge, I would say, reckoner. And I think project management tools and communication tools, these are two major tools which have been playing a very important role here.
Thank you, Mr. Sharjeel.
Crisp.
Yeah, crisp enough. Thank you, Mr. Sharjeel. It's just a time constraint, I really love to hear from all of you, especially when Janice talks, she has a lot of information, so I love to hear all day long. But in 60-minute session, we have to be a little crisp. Yes, without further ado, let's move on to Mr. Jitendra Lalwani. Over to you.
So for us, the primary thing was that we had a technology which was used for tracking ambulances. Okay, but before COVID, the usage was pretty less because the ambulance owners or the drivers are pretty uneducated, and the business here it is very unorganized as such. Okay, but COVID became a game changer. In fact, we have seen a 70% more ambulance owners started using our technology. Okay, and that also ultimately benefited the end user also because they could track the ambulances in a real time manner. Okay, so that was the biggest game changer for us, that because of COVID a lot of ambulance owners started using our application technology. Another benefit was that everybody started doing digital payment. Okay, ambulance is such that you use once or twice, so you don't trust the ambulance owner whether should I pay in advance, should I do digital payment or not. Okay, but we now becoming a credible brand and also having a proper technology at the forefront. Okay, digital payment was another thing that which happened successfully for us. Okay, in fact now our 95% of the payments happen via digital. Okay, so that was actually the benefit for us, because all the revenue started hitting our bank. Okay, instead of we just collecting the commission kind of a thing. So that was the biggest game changer for us. Two things: technology implementation or usage by a lot of the ambulance owners and also by the end users, and digital payment happening by the end users. So these are the two benefits that we got in terms of technology due to COVID.
I think it was rightly mentioned by Mr. Jitendra Lalwani regarding the digital payments, right? So I think I read a report by the Gartner which said that the digital payments can never be before. The payments can never be the same after the COVID. And also there's the stat which has been released by the government of India that the digital payments in India are growing at a rate of 55% over the last 5 years. So that is the amount of the growth of digital payment. And I think that is one of the biggest rises during the pandemic, I would say.
Absolutely.
Thank you for mentioning it, Jason. Over to Mr. Jiten Mehta.
Yeah, hi. See, for us, as I was telling you, is we are already in a cloud and a SaaS application. So of course, it's not our IP, but we have been a part of different cloud services like Microsoft, Google, and AWS, and of course Office 365 from Microsoft and Google Suite probably. So for us, it was a game changer of those who were on premises server, like probably have moved to cloud, and we already our offices were on cloud itself. So for us, it was not really very difficult to adopt new technology, but yes, for our customer, it helped us in making our business more and large quantities basically.
Thank you, Mr. Jiten. And he pointed out the cloud. The cloud is like elixir for digital technology. Right? Without cloud, I think none of the digital technology can ever exist. And I think this juncture, we'd also like to mention about the services provided by the Tata Tele, especially in the grounds of the cloud. The services they offer is something truly par excellence. It's helping a lot of business. Thank you, Jiten. Thank you, Jiten. Yes, moving to Mr. Suhas.
I'm going to ask you what was the question again, because I'm kind of listening to everybody's answer. I
All
sort
right,
of lost track
not
of
a
the question.
problem.
You
So
lost
the
it.
question is, how is technology changing the way we do business?
Again, I mean, as I said, we are all in the business of technology. So certainly, individually for our businesses, yes, technology means the core. As far as a client is concerned, yes, we saw that there have been an increased acceptance of work from home, or initially where clients were insisting that there has to be an in-person meeting. I think to an extent, COVID kind of accelerated that people started accepting remote deliveries or accepted remote kind of diagnosis or remote kind of meetings per se. In terms of game changers, I would say that technology was never a challenge. I think the challenge was in our mindsets. 3 years back or 4 years back, if you would have asked me this question when I was sitting in a large conglomerate, an automotive conglomerate, right? We used to have a person in our cabins who used to start the meetings for us, right? So the game changer in COVID is, I think everybody learned how to come on to the meetings, how to initiate the meeting yourself without using an IT guy next to you, or at least how to do some kind of fault finding or diagnosis of when your PC goes off. I mean, to that extent, I would say the game changer was COVID made us self-sufficient rather than being dependent on somebody else, which was not required in the first case, but that was kind of the mindset with which we were going. Work from home itself was a big mindset. We were always ready. I mean, if you look at it, technology was there. There were service providers like you who were providing services. Yes, bandwidth has been an issue and still an issue, especially for some of the people operating from their offices. And that's why we see, the voices not coming clearly or going. Those kind of issues still keep happening. But technology was always there. It was only our ability to jump into it and make it happen. I think COVID helped us a lot and made it. I mean, it's like a tough teacher gets the homework made from you. Something of that nature, that game changer thing happened.
True. Totally true, Mr. Suhas. Yes, so that is how the technology is changing the way we do businesses, especially after the pandemic. But one thing, which was a dream, or a topic that was highly debatable before the pandemic, was this concept of work from home or the remote working culture. Like, I think we have to again name it as BC, before Corona and after Corona. So BC, the work from home or remote working has been a completely debatable topic. So there were a lot of doubts, there was a lot of consumptions whether it is going to work or is it feasible, and whatnot. But look at what pandemic has done. Every company, every corporate, or every IT industry, or almost every industry has now converted into a work from home culture. Right? Almost 80% of the businesses are now operating into the work from home culture. Talking about this change, in terms of your business, with regards to your business, what do you think is going to be the most suitable work form? Is it going to be the conventional office setup, or is it going to be the work from home setup, or is it going to be the hybrid model? But this time we're going to do something really interesting. We're not going to talk, all right? We are just going to do some actions to voice out your opinion. So if you think that the office setup is going to be suitable for your business, give me a left thumbs up. So if you think that the work from home is going to work for you, give me a right thumbs up. And if it is a hybrid model, give me a namaste. So which is going to work for you? Okay, Jiten starts with the namaste. Suhas starts, okay, follows. Sharjeel starts. Janis always gives a namaste every time I ask this question. Mr. Jeetendra Lalwani, which is going to be the suitable for you?
So for us,
So you can just give me an action for this round.
I'll say work from home.
Oh, work from home, right?
Okay,
right.
I'm totally in with work from home.
Okay, work from home, complete work from home is what Jiten says, and all the other panelists are going with the hybrid model. But I think moving forward, the hybrid model is going to dominate, because no matter how much the technology is booming, especially in India's concern, we always look for that face-to-face interaction, in-person interaction, especially while closing a lot of deals, right? So moving a little ahead in the timeline, right? So I think this is good. This is starting to build up like a story, like a nostalgic time travel is how I'm looking at. So moving a little further, is precisely after 23rd March 2020, if at all there was one word that was very, very predominant in the digital life force was Zoom, right? So this Zoom had a massive, massive growth to an extent that what was the market cap of Zoom in the earlier was just $31 billion, but in the scope of pandemic, it was rising to a humongous $120 billion. So that was the growth of Zoom, especially in the Q4. The rise was almost 369%. So that is how this video conferencing apps, as a matter of, for a instant example, has grown, especially during the pandemic. So everyone would definitely have adopted a technology to ensure that our businesses are continuing the pandemic. Talking about which, I would like to understand from you panelists, what was that one technology adoption you did to ensure that your business is running continuously? I will start again with Mr. Sachin.
So, in our case, as you rightly mentioned, Zoom and all other technologies like WebEx were already there in the market, and we were using it. So it was not a that big of a challenge. We already had been using all these technologies. For us, automation was an important thing that we tried on during the COVID, and the automation was in the marketing and sales areas. So we want to make sure that the sales team, because they were the only ones complaining a lot about not having a personal touch point with the customers, not being able to reach the customers properly. So we tried putting up a CRM. We were using HubSpot, and we tried automations to make it work, and it worked really well for us. I think that was one major thing. And even with the adoption part, right? Before, people don't use CRM to the right extent. Now we have at least 98% compliance with CRM usage, putting in properties and everything so that the automations go very well. The workflows are working very fine. So I think that was one major change that I've seen and we've worked on.
So the CRM for the salespeople, especially, is one of the technology adoptions Mr. Sharjeel had made. I will move on to Jeetendra Lalwani. Over to you.
So for us, definitely, yes, we had to change our mode from physical meetings to Zoom meetings. Okay. Also, making our ambulance partners who are a little unorganized and not that educated kind of right people, getting them on this kind of a technology was a major challenge in the start. Okay. But I think over a period of time, everybody realized that this is the way to go and you can't get over it. So I think people started slowly and steadily jumping on it. So that was one biggest advantage. And the second thing was while we were there on social media, we were, for example, we were not there on Twitter. Okay. And during the pandemic, we got very aggressive on Twitter and we were actively present on Twitter. And that actually became the biggest benefit for us. We got connected with a lot of like-minded peoples via which we could help a lot of community. Okay. A lot of people who needed ambulances or needed any kind of any other medical benefits. Okay. Twitter was actually a big boon for us. Okay. Mumbai police tweeted about our services on multiple times. Okay. Asking for ambulance support. Then there were a lot of celebrities who also came and tweeted about us. So that was actually the biggest benefit we had. So for us, I will say Twitter has been the technology or that social media platform which has actually benefited us a lot.
All right. So I think Twitter is a response that I'm hearing for the first time, as long as I've anchored in the CSO talk, highlighting Twitter as a technology that improves. But when it comes to technology, you never know which is going to help you to boom. Right? So wonderful, very interesting.
Yeah, especially because we are from more the B2C side rather than B2B. So all these mediums really help us.
Quite interesting, Mr. Jiten. Let me quickly jump on to Mr. Jiten Mehta. Over to you.
Yeah, hi. So being a Microsoft partner, we have been on Microsoft Teams for a long time. We were Skype before it was Skype, and now it is Microsoft Teams. And I agree with Sharjeel, is the big advantage we got is our CRM got compliant, at least to 90%, which was never there. It was always 40, 50%. So all our review meetings started from a CRM. So now we don't have to depend on a person. The biggest advantage, we don't have to depend on people. Everybody is on Zoom and the screen is shared through their opportunity funnel, probably from a CRM only, So that's the biggest advantage we got. And of course, being a Microsoft, we are internally all using Microsoft Teams. For customers, yes, we have to use Zoom or WebEx, but otherwise for all our internal and for majority of our customers, we use Teams.
Thank you. Welcome, Jiten. Let me quickly move on to Mr. Suhas.
Yeah, in terms of communication medium, I think I was just looking at my mobile, how many apps I kind of downloaded. So it's Zoom, Team, WebEx, GoToWebinar, because we are working with different clients and different clients have different preferences. We have to match with what they have. And I yes agree with both the speakers who spoke in front before me is about the CRM part. So earlier CRM was pretty much a person specific, and people used to just come and tell ye kar diya. Now it's nothing but it gets recorded, and you have some datum point from where you could start working forward. So formalization of stuff which earlier used to be informal is, I would say, another game changer, especially as far as CRM is concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Suhas. And we are talking about a lot of video conferencing apps. That I think we forgot to mention one. The Desi Zoom, I think the Geo Meet that was on the market, but I don't know how far people started to use it or how many of them tried it. But I think most of them had a complaint that it was just an orange Zoom or whatever. Like, let us not go there, but one of the common things that were talked, this last year was, how are you? Are you safe? Am I audible? Is my video on? Sir, please turn your video on. So these are the common things people started to talk during this last 1 year. So I think Jeetendra has rightly pointed out, one of the biggest challenges with the technology is, imparting it to all the employees properly. The management level has this ideology, they have this knowledge of using the technology properly. But what about the employees, especially in the man-tech industry or a non-IT industry? Helping them to adopt to the technology was really of a very big challenge, right? So, talking about which, now I would like to, at this juncture, I would really like to listen to some of the interesting challenges that you faced while adopting towards the digital lifestyle. I would like to start with Mr. Sharjeel.
This is an interesting area, right? Again, the example I can share is not from our organization, but my previous organization as well, where we were working with the logistics sector. Now, this is pro-COVID and before COVID, that is, and after COVID also, we have faced the same challenges. Was in logistics, as you know, that this is a very manpower-heavy industry, and a lot of different departments are not very used to technology, right? And coming up with technologies like applications used by delivery boys or application used by operations manager to manage everything was very difficult. And we have seen similar changes in during COVID time also, because with Netsoftmate, we have certain clients who are in logistics industry, and the IT teams talk to us and ask us and to help them in terms of the change management process. How can we do that? How can we implement this particular application? How can we make the users use this? So yeah, that was a very big challenge, because see, when you are very tech savvy, it becomes easier to adopt to technologies. But when you're not, it becomes all the more difficult. We need to get into their shoes and understand. And doing that is a very difficult. That was the biggest challenge that we have faced with a few clients, I would say.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sharjeel. As I rightly said, it is difficult to impart technology to everyone and make them tech savvy. Right. So let me quickly jump on to Jeetendra Lalwani. Over to you.
So, like we stated, so I think technology implementation with our ambulance partners, and also in the start when the entire country went into lockdown, okay, ensuring that our call center is working 24/7, that was a major hurdle. Also, the integration of our call center with our backend, okay, because that has to happen in a very seamless manner. So that was the biggest challenge that we faced in the initial start when the lockdown happened. This were the two major things. In fact, one thing what the earlier speaker stated, I totally agree with him. In fact, what we have seen is that, in fact, few days back, I was trying to do a call with a doctor, okay, through one of the apps, one of the partner apps, and the technology that they had developed was so difficult that for an old person to come and do a video call was practically impossible, because he's not adhere to that technology. So I think one of the learnings that we have got in COVID is that while technology, everyone will use it because now it has become the need of the day. The more you make it simple and easier to use, the high adaptability will happen. Okay, that is what I think has been the learning thing for everyone. That while technology, everybody started using it, but keep it simple, keep it minimal, and make it easier to use for everyone. So that is what I would like to say.
All right, that's great, Mr. Jeetendra. Let me jump on to Mr. Jiten Mehta.
Yeah, I think so. The biggest hurdle what we faced for our customer basically was on a endpoint. I think so. A lot of people did not have an endpoint which was like a laptop sort of a thing. A lot of people were on desktop or a thin client. So I think so for us the biggest challenge was of delivery of endpoints, and I think so the laptop manufacturers and the probably resellers have really made a fortune out of it. I think so everybody has earned 10,000 at least per laptop, during and it was a supply demand. I bought some few laptops for my organization. The same configuration in probably a week's time. One was at X amount, second was at X plus 5, X plus 10, something like that. So the biggest challenge, what people felt was endpoint, and from a commercial side, I think so. A lot of approvals were, getting delayed, to get those new, technology in the system. Suppose today we want to move from for an example, Tata to Geo or Geo to Tata probably. The approvals were taking some time, and probably those internet issues, typically because a lot of people had some bandwidth, but it was not sufficient to everyone, pounce onto the same. It was something like, everybody's pouncing on something. So these are the few challenges probably on approvals and endpoint deliveries, and of course, finally the internet. Internet is, Sahil Radley said, is husband, wife working, children are on school, which is the heavy video, applications. So internet, and again, finally, everybody being a theaters are closed, Netflix, or probably Amazon. So I think the internet has been, we have really rogered. I must thank Tata and other ISP providers to really sustain us rather. Without them, we wouldn't have been, sustained today. Honestly, I use at least nothing less than 300 GB data per month at home. Nothing less than that. I can tell you that because, multiple TVs, multiple laptops, everybody is working from home. So thank you, Tata and other ISPs like you.
Thank you, Mr. Jiten. I think I remember one of the speakers who had come for earlier editions of the CEO talk. He was the OTT platform provider, and there was one speaker who literally thanked him. So only because of you, the fights between me and my wife was, cut short because we all were completely immersed into OTT. And just like how Jiten said, we need to, I still remember a couple of years, or 3 to 4 years back, we had to pay 256 for just 1 GB data per month, right? I remember using that when I was back in college, but today, just like Jiten said, we don't use anywhere less than 250 to 300 GB of data per month today. So that is how the technology has risen the last 3 to 4 years. That's something humongous to know about. Thank you, Mr. Jiten, for pointing it out. And yes, finally, I would like to come back to Mr. Suhas. Over to you, sir.
You rightly said, because I do remember in way back in 1998, I had a 32 kbps modem, and I was paying through my nose to just keep that active so that my emails will go through. From there to making this video call with 6 people on board, I mean, certainly a lot of progress. And yes, you're not completely satisfied, yes, because at times there are call drops and quality is not that good, but at least the Indian infrastructure, the backend infrastructure has stood well, despite of the fact that all of us probably went and started working from remote locations rather than working from our office. In terms of your question, challenge, I would say from the other business where I'm supporting them for the technology, which is predominantly a manufacturing business. So they are into manufacturing of special purpose machine and industrial tools. For them, there's no choice but to be on the factory floor to work. They just can't simply think of working remotely. Yes, with the change, we are trying to see what part of it can go offline, can go online, and people can support them working. But a physical product has to be created at this point in time. People, machine, and resources have to be on ground. So for them, that's the biggest challenge. I think it'll take a lot of time to make all of that remote, and probably a lot of investment into that. So I would say IT, we were lucky. that we could quickly, I mean, endpoint was the only challenge. A couple of thousands, and you could convert yourself to a laptop and go ahead and start working. But production, I think they're still far away from it.
Huh. Thank you, Mr. Suhas. And since a lot of people were talking about the internet and the bandwidth as one of the biggest challenges in this round, here's a fun fact for all of us. The rank of India, there is this app called this Ookla that measures the bandwidth speed. So India ranks 129th, with regards to the mobile internet speed, and it ranks 65th with respect to the fixed broadband. And still, there is a long way to go, but still, I think we're all in the developing phase, and soon we might get there. But we must all agree to the fact that there was a massive growth in the usage of the smartphones amongst the people, right? Especially in the last few years. Now, everyone out in the street has a smartphone, right? You can start from iPhone or Oppo or Vivo. Everyone has a smartphone, and there's a lot of usage into the internet and technology over the last few years. Now, one thing that connects, all the entrepreneurs out here is this ability to look forward to what next, right? So I think that is one thing very common in all the entrepreneurs of us. So whatever happens, okay, what next is always been a question that is running in the back of our heads. So we're talking about the challenges in the last round, but we need to have a solution for that, right? So based upon your opinion with regards to your business, what do you think can be one enterprise solution that can enhance your business productivity? I would again like to start with Mr. Sharjeel.
Right. Yeah, this is a very challenging question because, again, I think managing tasks for remote workforce is a very, very important area that I felt we have been struggling as an organization. And for task management, if to manage remote workforce effectively, you need to make sure that you have great task managers and tools which can help you manage tasks, mostly the project management tools. So I think for enterprise solution, good project management tools would be the game changer. And we've been working on this, and we are continuously working. In fact, we're creating some by ourselves, and we're using some enterprise tools for this thing, because remote workforce is very difficult to manage. It's a boon. We know that everything is going from work from home, and we have remote workforce. But if you don't have an effective task management system in place, it is not advisable to even hire remote workforce.
True, very true. Thank you, Mr. Sharjeel. Let's very quickly move on to Mr. Jiten Lalwani.
So I agree. I think what one thing that we are planning to do in the near future is to develop, while we have a CRM system and picture, we want to make it more efficient so that there are a lot of there are a lot of corporates who are interested in our services. Okay, but being a startup and we don't have a big team, okay, to efficiently do a proper regular follow up, ensure that we are reaching across to the maximum corporates. So our entire idea is to build a proper CRM system which will help us in lead generation and also ensure that we are able to provide maximum support to our end users. Okay, with COVID-19 again on the peak, okay, everybody has realized that I don't know how many years this is going to be there. Okay, so we see a lot of demands happening of ambulances in the coming years, and for that, an efficient system which can not only do help us in lead generation but also do a maximum customer support. We plan to do that in the coming future.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jeetendra. Let me quickly jump on to Mr. Jiten.
Yeah, for us, I think so. I agree with Sharjeel is monitoring the workforce, because we have a large number of people who are working from home. So we are looking for a tool. Rather, we are almost on a finalization stage of subscription model for managing the workforce from home, which we are not able to. Currently, we are on like Excel sheets, whatever they are sending the daily call reports sort of a thing. But now it's time we need to automate that, and I think so. For us, the most important thing is we need to have a task monitoring tool, rather the workforce monitoring tool, basically.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jiten. Yes, Mr. Suhas, I would like to hear from you.
Not a single magic one solution that I would look for, but the way I look at it, you had asked some questions some time back is, whether you love working from office hybrid or from home kind of, So if I look at the profile of the people and if I can divide it into three, so most senior folks, somebody who has got 25 plus years of experience is preferring to work from home, right? The mid-level guys sort of need an hybrid kind of a environment. The younger guys, of course, they want to work from office. The reason being, the way IT companies have been structured and the way we create our own next force is this younger force is always was working with the mid-level and senior force, and they were in the process. On the job training is what was going on, and that's kind of come to a complete standstill now, right? And if you ask me what I need, I would probably look for something which would kind of create that environment in the online mode where my youngest employee could gain the kind of knowledge and experience that he or she was gaining by working with my senior most employee. And that is going to be a biggest challenge going forward. So what we are looking for right now is how could we get into that on the job training which people were earlier getting by being together. How can we make that possible by the remote working? Because practically all of you will find that gap coming in after 5-10 years. Your new generation is not going to be ready to take the challenge, because a, they're not learning your culture. B, they're not learning how you are solving the problems. It's purely going online currently. Another 3, 4, 5 years of time, that's going to be a biggest challenge. So how to get them to the level where my earlier folks were, that's the biggest challenge. And I'm looking for finding out some solution in this space.
I agree with Suhas. I think so. He's got a valid point. Onboarding people, to the next level, it's a big challenge currently.
Yeah, even doing the training to the current team members or the new members, it's a major challenge.
Great, wonderful. Right. So moving forward is something one of my personal questions which I love to ask. Something very interesting. This is not really going to be based on technology per se. I think this is going to be like a very strategic question. So each one of us had one strategy that we all adopted during the pandemic to ensure that our business is going with our hassle-free. Right? There should have been one thing that we implemented during the pandemic. So what was that one thing that works very well for your business, which you would like to share with the others? I would again like to start with the Sharjeel over to you.
It's clearly customer relationship. That works very well because during COVID, like I mentioned, customers were facing more problems than we were. We were already on technology. Customers were facing problem adopting to this change, and hand holding your customer at every point and explaining them, being there for your customers. Like our teams went on 24/7 supporting the customers. That has basically helped, and that is the only winning point for us, where we doubled our revenues because of the referrals that we got from our customers. So I think, yeah, customer relationship is the most important area.
Wonderful. Customer relationship is one thing that Mr. Sharjeel adopted. Let me hear it from Mr. Jiten Lalwani. Over to you.
So yes, customer relationship is really important, and I think it has helped us in the last 1 year, because we have gone beyond ambulance services and supported our members. Okay, if there was a requirement of anything else in medical support, we have gone and supported them. But I think one thing which this year of COVID has taught us is the entire concept for us, for me at least, I'll say that is the good karma. I'll tell you simply. Uh, uh, we used to do some things. We used to support some needy person, okay, and the next day or let's say in the next week, we used to get a major business which had no relationship. Okay, these were two different things, and that is how it used to happen. So I think the last year was entirely about how good you can do for others. The good karma will come back and support you. Okay, so that has been the for us, or at least I'll say that for the ambulance business or anyone who's trying to help others out, the good karma has come back into the life. Everyone earlier used to think that there is a bad karma which exists, okay, and it keeps on biting you. But last year, this entire thing was all about the good karma, and that I think so was the biggest learning for us or for anyone. Okay, and that is what I think has driving dial 442. We still support so many people, and somehow the good karma comes and support us. So I'll say that has been the biggest change.
All right, good karma. Very interesting insight. Just let me quickly hear it from Mr. Jiten. and let me see if he has something else interesting to say.
So we had a very, very clear strategy, not from a business perspective, from a human resources perspective. That till March 2020 we were staying away from a negative people. We told them to stay away from a positive people after that. So since last year, 1 year, our mantra is stay away from positive people, and that is what is giving us a mileage on a business growth. Luckily, we only got out of 250 people, only 2 or 3 got infected. But the rest, I think we had 24/7 working. So the mantra for us is stay away from positive. So BC was stay away from negative, and AC is now stay away from positive.
Yeah. Corona, their test has to be negative, but you have to be really positive. Is what Mr. Jiten had, adopted. Nice. Just let me quickly hear from Mr. Suhas. Over to you.
Excellent. I'm an alumnus of Side Business School, which is Oxford University, and as we speak, there's been initiative which is being done by them, and that is business for purpose rather than business for profit. And I think that's something which I kind of more internalize and more realize during last 1 year is that as we run our businesses, purpose of the business is more important than the profitability. And if you ask me a single word, I would take that.
All right. Purpose, business for purpose, and
Business for purpose rather than business for profit. Of course, I mean profit has to be there because you have to survive, but it's to that extent. So it's actually a movement which is against the capitalism of the world. But basically saying do a business with a purpose, because you need to ensure that you're not doing business only for your policyholders or shareholders, but you're actually doing the business for your stakeholders, and which is a larger community.
true, very true. And I think I also read it somewhere in the book, if I'm not wrong, as Jim Collins rightly said, if your business is all about just making money, it's high time you have to change your business. And that was actually, I think it's just a one word. Business for purpose is a one line, but I think it has 1,000 meanings and philosophies inside it. Wonderful, Mr. Suhas. And I think let me quickly post my one last question. Again, something very personal, but still with regard to business in one way or the other. So, what do you watch or read to get your business updates on an everyday basis? So, this would be my final question for the day. What do you watch or read to get your business updates every day? Again, Mr. Sharjeel, over to you.
I'm a hardcore TechCrunch fan, so I keep following TechCrunch for startup ecosystem, startup news, funding news. Apart from that, obviously CNBC, you see all the business updates come from that area. But yeah, I'll read a lot from these tech aggregators, Tech in Asia, Tech Crunch, mainly.
All right. Tech trends is something Mr. Sharjeel reads often. Yes, Mr. Jeetendra Lalwani.
So for me, I think, like I said earlier, also Twitter has been a good source of knowledge and information. Okay, you can be accessible to a lot of people. You can get into communication with a lot of people. Okay, in fact, we have seen business grown because of Twitter. So that is one place where I actually look at it and try to get as much information as possible, as much knowledge as possible. I do follow topics on startups, funding, healthcare industry. Okay, and now with all the platforms implementing the hashtag source via which you can follow multiple topics, okay, it has actually become quite easier for you to follow a certain core topics which you are interested. So even on LinkedIn, if you are there, okay, I can just follow the healthcare industry, follow certain people in that, okay, interact with them. So I think that is very important because uh, uh, the knowledge and communication that you get with one-on-one interaction with someone who is at a very senior level industry is quite different from reading the normal trends or normal website contents. Okay, so that is where I think that one-on-one information or communication really helps.
I think Jitendra is so much has a lot of affinity towards Twitter, I guess, and he really had a good time with Twitter. Since a lot of people are,
Yeah, you can say that.
He started to live in Twitter and gets news updates on it. Wonderful, Mr. Jitendra. Yes, let me quickly jump on to Mr. Jiten. Over to you.
So I'll be honest and frank. I'm a very, very bad reader. I don't somehow after my college days, I don't think I've opened any books, be it a novel or be it technology books. So yes, I learn all the technologies or probably all our industry bites probably from a different peers and colleagues. Yeah, I've been very active on some of the associations in Bombay, on IT associations and all. So although I know, I would say 1,000, 2,000 plus. Like IT partners across the country with lot of OEM attachments. So from OEM training or from peers discussion, probably I gain my knowledge, and sometimes we learn from customer also.
Very true.
So that is very
Money comes
important.
from everywhere.
So trust me, I don't read any of the things. I do not have my Twitter handle. Let me tell you. So I'm feeling like a lot after listening to Jeetendra. But yeah, I do not have my Twitter handle. Neither I operate my LinkedIn. I only use probably WhatsApp. That's all I use. So that's how it is, probably.
So one thing I definitely agree with Jiten sir is that in fact I also never used to read books. I used to only read books to impress girls. Okay, that was the only reason for me reading books. Otherwise, not at all a book reader.
Right. So this actually certainly shaping on a different side, but let's quickly wrap it up. I have to hear
So to answer your question, yes, I read a lot and I read on very topics. But your question was, what is the one thing that you read, right? So
yeah.
I just looked at what do I touch when I get up the first in the morning. So Apple News is my favorite, and that's the news cliplet which gives me most of the stuff when I get up in the morning. Be it the news, and especially interested to know what governments are doing in this pandemic, because unknowingly they're going to change the way we are going to work in the future. So I'm more interested in what these guys are trying to do, where and what the implications of that on the businesses.
All right. Thank you so much, lovely panelists. I think I really had a fun in the last 16 minutes. I think especially this edition of CEOtalk was really interesting because there was a lot of fun fails, philosophical, technical based insights that had come up from the discussions over the last 60 minutes. And I think I would.
Thanks to you, Muthu, for running it very effectively. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr.
Well
Suhas.
managed time, yeah.
Yeah, I think I have to invite Mr. Janis at this time, to give away a brief closing remark on the session. Over to you. Kindly unmute yourself, Janis.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said a very interesting session. I mean, I personally gained a lot. I hope, the people who are going to view this session online or they are connected now, I think they have also gained and got different perspectives from various industries. That is what made it very interesting. So thank you, Mr. Suhas, Mr. Sharjeel, Mr. Jiten, and Mr. Lalwani and Muthu for making this session a very insightful one. And we will definitely look forward in future to associate with you for such future sessions and current discussions. So thank you so much for your time once again.
Thank you, Janis, and thank you, lovely panelists once again for joining with us. And on behalf of the talk, we wish you all the best in all the endeavors in upcoming days to come. And until next time, on yet another interesting episode of CEOtalk sponsored by Tata Tele, this is Muthu signing off. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, dear.